Andressa was serving San Andreas from Blaine County to Los Santos City, with around-the-clock updates of what's happening in your neighborhood and regular crime reports, providing exclusive political content and live-action entertainment. We are Weazel News. Alright everybody, we're going to go ahead and get this meeting started here. Now, alright, is that better for everybody?
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, my apologies. The microphone here apparently was not turned up. Alright, so first and foremost, thank you all for joining us. Whether you are a citizen, a fellow officer, or with the media, we are glad you are here. The purpose of the press release today is to make the public aware of some changes within the department and the government, both of which will affect the public in an important way. The first thing we want to talk about is that yesterday evening, around this time, an assassination attempt was executed on the governor. We believe that this attempt was planned and executed by a single individual, and any person with information should come forward. Any person with information that leads to an arrest could be issued some sort of reward for that information. The governor was hospitalized and was released that afternoon with minor post-treatment conditions. He is expected to make a full recovery. Because of this, citizens should expect to see an increased amount of security surrounding the governor and any government or public event, which is part of the reason why we did the checks, the doors were locked, those sort of things at this event. The Sheriff's Department will also be working to establish a security and escort service for the governor during any government events, but also just as a regular security patrol when he is in town. Now, the governor announced yesterday that tax rates in the city for income tax and sales tax will remain the same, with potential to increase. And part of that was to fund some new additions to the state, including a state militia, but also to help provide those security services. Moving forward, some updates in the department. First and foremost, most of you have probably noticed the updated vehicle liveries, uniforms, and vehicles that we are using in our fleet. Additionally, we have updated the computer systems, the CAD systems, the dispatch systems, and the ranking structure of the department. And this is to modernize and increase the professional look of the department, while also working to provide faster response times and better service to citizens. We are also planning to increase training within the department as a way to always be working towards being our best selves. Now, all of these things obviously come at some cost, and this is part of the reason for the taxes that you're seeing, the tax rates currently. We are working to boost tourism in the city by making the city a safer place as a department, and we are hoping that with more tourism, the department will also not only be able to make the city safer, but that these tax rates can hopefully come down in the future. At this time, are there any questions for me specifically regarding some updates within the department?
Oh yeah, over here.
Yes, the representative from FiveM News.
I'm here with FiveM News. We were wondering about this assassination attempt. We'd like more information on that.
So we are not able to talk about the attempt too much due to the fact that it is an ongoing investigation. What we can share at the moment is that we believe this event was executed by a single person. We do not believe that this was a coordination between multiple people. We do believe that the individual was using the news information about where the meeting was going to be and when as a way to plan the attacks. We also believe that the individual scouted out the locations before the intended meeting. More than likely they picked popular locations to scout out beforehand, because they knew not only the initial location, but they were quickly able to adapt to the secondary location which we had planned. We know that they used a high caliber rifle to take out the attack, and that they did so with intent to not only harm but kill the governor. Did that answer your question?
Yes, but Mr.
I have a
Sheriff,
question.
I have another question. Before
I'll take
you
the
hold
question from Ivan News as it's continuous.
And how are we supposed to know that there is only one person with this? How do we know that there isn't multiple?
Great
Could this
question.
be something that could be considered terrorist attacks? Or should we be looking for more of these in the future?
Great question.
What can we as citizens do to protect ourselves?
As of now, the big thing is there was only one shot from one location, and there was security present at the meeting, so there was no person within a close proximity of the governor. So we believe that this was an individual due to the fact that they, typically if there was a group, they would have fired more shots once they saw that the governor was being transported or removed from the scene. Additionally, we believe, more than one shots would have come from more than one location at the same time or in close sequence to each other. As far as what the citizens can do, I want to reassure you that this was not an attack on a citizen. It was not an attack on the general public, but an attack on the government and the governor. So we are working to increase security for government events and for public officials. However, we do not believe any member of the public is in danger from this individual. However, if you see anything suspicious, there's any concerns, you are welcome to call the sheriff's department, call 911, and we can always come down and check out what's going on.
I do have a question.
Okay. The Weazel.
How how should citizens take precautions in this, considering we don't know for a fact if they won't attack citizens?
Great question. Okay, so the big thing is anytime you're in a large gathering, it's always important to be aware of your surroundings, being aware of what's going on around you, and being aware of who you're with. Okay, so be smart. If you're going out for the night, maybe bring a friend with you. I encourage that if you see anything suspicious that seems a little off, something that seems like it could be a threat, call it in,
Okay.
and we can always investigate that. And again, make sure you yourself are following laws. What most people don't realize is if we are stopping people for speeding or not using a turn signal or because their window tint's too dark, then that is tying up resources that could potentially witness a different crime of a larger severity. And it's our duty to enforce all laws. We don't get to discriminate what laws we do and don't enforce. So some of those smaller laws sometimes take up a lot of time when we could be looking for those bigger lawbreakers.
Okay.
Any other questions from the press or public?
Are you guys expecting another attack?
The suspect is still at large, so we believe that this failed attempt has probably discouraged them some. but we are increasing security and escort services for government officials as a precaution. We will also be working with the Los Santos City press team and the San Andreas press teams to work on better venues for speeches, places that are maybe less open or places that have a little better visibility for us and harder visibility for those trying to look in on the scene. So that is something we are doing. We're talking about moving some of those venues now. But as of now, we are not expecting an attack. We don't expect that there's an attack planned, but we're taking those precautions to be safe.
Ivan, from Ivan News, I have another question for you. Actually, I've got two questions.
Okay.
How do we know that they didn't get the information through the police? How do we know there was no leak there?
All information regarding the meeting that a person would need to plan the attack was public. To plan an attack like that, you just need to research, the main areas where you think there might be a speech. You watch the news, you find out where the meeting is, and you're able to plan based off of that. So to be honest, we believe that all the information a person would need to carry out the attack that did happen would have been publicly available. You basically just need to know the location.
Okay. Another question, Mr. Sheriff, sir. Word around town is that gang activity has been popping up around. What do you plan to do about this?
So
People are getting concerned.
One thing we have looked into is the potential to expand our criminal investigation division, also known as CID. We are working to hire individuals for that job. The primary function there would be investigating crimes, and we believe that by investigating crimes, we can find links between some of the smaller crimes happening, whether it be the same person or perhaps similar people, like people wearing the same colors or people that are constantly together when crimes happen. We believe that CID will be able to help us with that. Additionally, as part of the security and escort service for the governor, that task force will also be assigned as a tactical unit when not in service. And so that tactical unit will be able to respond to some of these larger crimes. Again, that's part of the reason for the current tax rate and the taxes on the tickets and fines. So,
do we think this incident here might have been related to gang activity that's on the rise?
I can't comment on the ongoing investigation as far as our leads. We are actively investigating, and we do believe that this person did not do this for fun. We believe that they had a purpose, and as far as what that purpose is and why, that's something we're still investigating.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Oh yes, yeah. Ivan with Ivan News.
Okay.
How is this going to affect the citizens economically and taxes?
As far as the economics and the tax rates, that is not something I am able to address from my position. That is going to be more so a city town hall or a state meeting that would have to happen to address those. However, I can say that from personal experience, I find that If I feel safe and I'm able to go to work and I'm able to do my job and I'm able to do what I need to do to get that paycheck, I'm a lot better off financially than if my house and car and business are being broken into every day and I'm afraid for my life. So, as far as the economics, I can't touch too much on that, but I can say that we believe that having safety, security, and peace of mind for the citizens and the law-abiding citizens is our top priority, and that by doing that, we are enabling people to be successful and prosper.
Yes, and Mr. Sheriff, one last question for you before you go. Give me 1 second. I need to word it. Here, if anybody else has question,
Any other questions?
We're just waiting on you.
Oh, yes. What do you police officers plan to do about the rise in homelessness problem that is happening?
So we believe that the increase in the homeless population is a matter that primarily has to come from the city and state governments, and potentially the county government as well, if that needs to step in. However,
But what
on
are
the
you
law,
as the department doing to help combat this rise?
absolutely, on the law enforcement side, um, we are um, working to make sure that they also remain safe. They are citizens, they are people, and we want to make sure that they are safe from crime as well. And that's our top priority. However, um, a lot of the people who are homeless in the area are on substance, such as drugs or alcohol. Um, and some of them are, uh, you know, in a position that they themselves are not able to get off of that. And so, um, it's our priority to try and help those people through rehabilitation. We are working closely with the Pillbox Medical to establish some sort of mental health facility as well as an addiction facility.
And do we think that these homeless people are involved in the gang activity? They tend to be in the similar areas where crimes happen.
I would say that the areas in which homeless encampments are also the areas in which crime happens, not because of the people, but because of the location. Typically, homeless encampments are in places that are not visible to uh, people that are just driving normally or going on a normal route. They're not usually visible from highways. They're usually not well lit. They're usually not off of a main road. And so these are prime locations for crime, but also prime locations for homeless encampments. That does not mean that all homeless people are innocent and that there are no criminals that are homeless. It just means that in most cases, there is not a direct connection between the two.
I have a question.
Okay.
Are there rehabilitation programs for former gang members seeking to leave gang life?
Our gang task force is relatively young. We are still working to establish it. However, we do believe that people who want to better themselves should be given resources to better themselves. Much of the policies and laws and what we are able to do and what we have to do is dictated by the city-state governments. And so we are relying on them to kind of give us guidance as far as how they want us to handle that. However, we will always do anything we can to help the citizens and help the public stay safe.
Yeah, and do we think that there's a possibility that this homeless problem could be tied to the governor's assassination attempt. Should the citizens be worried about the homeless problem and increase in gangs in light of all of this?
An increase in criminal activity is always something to be aware of. I think that citizens should make sure their house is secure, make sure that their car is locked. If you have the ability to invest in some dash cams for your vehicle or security cameras for your home, I always encourage that. No matter where you
citizens
live.
go run out and get guns, firearms, to protect themselves? Should they be concerned that much?
Uh, I do not believe that there should be a rush to the gun stores. Okay, I believe that if you would like to purchase a firearm, that is your legal right, and I am not opposed to that. However, I do believe you need to go through the proper training. Make sure you have the certification. Make sure you have the license. Make sure that you know how to use it, because a lot of people end up hurting themselves because they don't know how to handle firearms appropriately, and that's not something we want to see.
I believe the man behind me had the question.
Yes. Are we gonna have? You were saying proper training and all that. Is there gonna be classes held and stuff like that?
For the general public, we are looking at some avenues to work with a local gun club that is just now getting up and running to provide safety courses for those who are interested in weapons. So if you are interested in firearms, you're interested in concealed carry, we are going to be working with a local gun club to make sure that you have that training.
Is it open to everybody?
Like I said, it's very early start. However, I do believe that the intent is to have it open to everyone, so that everyone can get that concealed carry and know how to use the firearm safely. However, being a member of the club and going to some of their classes may not be directly tied together.
One other question. So, one of these gang members wanted to get their license for concealed weapons, but you have no idea that they're, in a gang or had felonies and stuff.
Are you asking this question because you're in a gang?
Who said I was in a gang? I'm
No.
curious,
Sort of good
if
question.
somebody's got a felony, but you don't have, basically a rap sheet on them, how do you know they're a felony? How do you know, basically, they're the ones trying to get specialized weapons or have the concealed permits?
Okay, so you go to the city hall to apply for your concealed carry. However, to actually be issued your concealed carry / weapons license, you have to come and speak with the deputy here at the department, and they have to issue the license through the computer system. So all people who have or apply for a concealed carry / gun license, they will have a background check done, including a name search and a fingerprint. And then on top of that, if they have a history of violent crimes or if they have a felony, they would not be allowed to not only get that license, but they would not be allowed to be in possession of or purchase a firearm anywhere in the state. We are working with the government and firearm dealers to find a way to limit who can buy guns, and to do on-spot background checks. However, currently on the department side of things, it is illegal. You are not permitted to have a firearm if you have any felony, and certain violent crimes also exclude you from being able to hold a firearm. So in your question, a gang member, you know, if they're a gang member and they're part of a gang, that means that they would have committed a crime with the gang on record. Typically, it's on record. So if they have anything on record, they would not be allowed to get a license. Did that answer your question?
Not really. Well, partially, but yeah, partially it did. Like I'm saying, if these members, like gang members, they have done the felonies, but you don't have proof of the felonies. You know what I mean?
Um,
They could still get the
if they
concealed
have a
weapons.
felony, I have a record of it. Let's put it that way. So if they have a felony, it's on record. However, if I don't have a record of it, then they don't have a felony because they wouldn't have been charged with a felony. So if you're buying a firearm with intent to cause harm or intent to do a crime, that is illegal. But I can't just pick out random people and say, well, you can't buy a firearm because I feel like it. I have to have some sort of legal reasoning, that being a convicted felony or a convicted violent crime.
Gotcha.
I have a question to go back
Yes,
to
Weazel
the
next.
assassination attempt.
Okay.
Are there any political tensions or conflicts that could have been related to the incident?
We are investigating the intent behind the uh, incident right now.
Okay.
We believe that at the moment we believe that it was a person who was frustrated with the announcement of some of the tax policies and other policies, including the military, that was
Okay.
established. Um, we believe that they were upset by this, and they thought that their only means to communicate that was um, through an assassination attempt.
I see.
Now, currently, we are still investigating that, but I want to remind the citizens that if you are upset about something, you have frustrations about something, if something is bothering you, you can always send letters, emails, um, expressing your frustration, as long as it is, um, respectful and not communicating any intent of harm. Then um, it is something that your politicians will listen to. You can also decide, you know, who you want in upcoming elections or votes or proposed bills. These are all ways that you can um, express yourselves. The first solution should not be violence.
Are there any challenges or obstacles in the investigation?
As of now, we are primarily looking for more information about the suspect. Um, so again, if anyone out there has information regarding the suspect that leads to an arrest, um, we would love to hear it. However, right now we are just trying to find who the suspect is and link the evidence from the scene to the gun and then the gun to the person.
Okay. Were there any known witnesses of the attempt?
I cannot comment on that as it is an ongoing investigation.
Okay.
Call for questions before we dismiss.
So I don't got a question, more or less a statement.
Okay.
I'm just, going off the room here and kind of basing everything off of my notes here that I've been writing down this entire time. I'm just gonna stand up real quick. I think this man did it. He's asking some weird questions about non-felon gang members that are felons, but I'm just saying, it's a little sus. If you ask me.
But you have to remember when somebody makes a comment that in any way, shape, or form could potentially incriminate or
Speak
make
up,
it sound
can't
as though they
hear
may
you.
have committed some form of crime, we can't just take that as a general assumption. We have to have some other form of evidence to prove
Right,
it.
right. I'm not saying you have to take it. I'm just giving my opinion.
We will investigate any and all leads that we get. So if you have information, we would love to hear it.
I mean, my
So
only information is just off of, right here, so I would probably take it with a grain of salt, but listening to everything that this gentleman right here said, it just seems a little weird that he's asking, questions about how gang members that haven't been caught for felonies or whatever about getting guns. It's just a little weird to me, just a concerned citizen.
And just for your information, this is the first time I ever heard about the governor trying to be assassinated. So it wasn't me.
all right, is there any other questions for me? All right, I appreciate all of you taking your time to come out here tonight. We will ensure that the doors are unlocked. They should all be unlocked now, but we appreciate your time.
Oh, Sheriff, thank you.